How are you?
Hey Jake, I'm doing well. Yourself?
Doing really well. You and your family, everyone's safe and healthy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you?
Fantastic. Yeah, everyone's good, man. Everyone's good. I just want to say
Good.
congratulations on this. I'll jump right in. Obviously, I love that Ted makes a decision that ends up obviously being very interesting for us to watch, but everyone around him sort of looks around and goes like, dude, like, are you sure? Are you sure this is it? I'm curious, do you have I wonder if you just be honest, do you have a professional decision you've made in your career that people around you were going like, really, man? Like this is what you want to do?
Yeah, great question, man.
I'm sure I do. Um, I think when I left SNL, when I did, I think people um, were curious about why I did it, or even maybe even in some smaller circles how I did it, how it came about. Because it's such a great job, and it's not like I was leaving into something specific, but my take on that show is even from its inception, its very first season, arguably the biggest star on that show, Chevy Chase, left. And so leaving is part of the experience. Even Lauren left, for 5 years, it's just, it's part, I hate to say graduate because, that's the, but yeah, you have to move through it. And I think that might be one. But I ruminate and I'm pretty intentional in the choices that I make to the disdain of I know some people. I know it can drive people crazy when they're waiting for an answer of yes or no, you're going to do this or whatnot, because a lot of it's an internal rumination versus like just pillow talk between Olivia and I, or pestering a cabbie.
Being like, hey, what do you think I should do with it? It's not. It's not
You
like
can always call me if you wanted to, dude. My
I
phone's right. I'm
appreciate.
ready to go.
I appreciate that. You never know. But yeah, that would probably be the one that most people were kind of like not concerned, but yeah, at that point.
Well, obviously, it worked out pretty well for you. One of the benefits of a series is that you get to flesh out and learn about a character over the course of multiple episodes and hopefully multiple seasons, something you don't always get to do when you just make a 2 hour movie. So I'm curious, who is a cinematic character that you've played in a movie that you would love to have had the chance to flesh out over multiple episodes or multiple seasons?
Hell yeah, great question. Boy, oh boy. Um, mm, 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 mm. Oh man. I mean, this is a little bit of a weird one, but I think it would have been it'd be a joy. But I did this film called Masterminds with Owen Wilson and Zach Galifianakis and
Dude,
Chris
that movie
Pratt.
is hilarious.
It really is. Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite, directed that.
And it's just one of those movies that I mean those three alone I would watch, just eat breakfast together, much less to see them in a film. And that was a fun character that I kind of came in and just in like the second act, or the second half I should say, of the film. But it was a fun energy to play, a fun vibe, a fun look. He had like a real dark side to him. But that was one that I was like, oh, I never thought about it, but to answer your question, I feel like that would be kind of fun.
I would watch
Yeah,
that series in a heartbeat, dude.
I mean, a very different mustache and sunglasses combination. Him wearing muscle shirts and whatnot, and but almost maybe it's Ted Lasso's, like his twin brother who went a different
Yes.
direction.
Yes. Right now, Apple is just like back in the backstage, just writing all this stuff down. It's
Yep,
gold, man.
like great,
Uh,
like we own it.
yeah. I know you and I are big football fans, so I'm sort of curious, which NFL coach would you be most curious to see make the transition from American football to actual football, to soccer?
Golly, I mean, it seems like Andy Reid can't do any wrong. Obviously, I'm going to go with hometown boy, but then who I can I use college coaches?
Of course.
Yeah, I'd love to see Jim Harbaugh from Michigan.
Oh, yeah. Would he still rock the khakis?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to meet him, a few years ago, and we just hit it off. His wife is from the Midwest, and
And yeah, I mean, one of the neat things about doing what I get to do for a living is that people, it's a cliche, but they feel like they know you because you've been in their home many times, or on their iPad, what have you. And so we met each other, and it was just right off the bat, got along, and he was so infectious. But he was someone that I immediately reached out to when the wardrobe department was like, "What does Ted dress like?" And I was like, "Oh, he dresses like Jim Harbaugh, like the khakis and the V-neck and and I remember texting coach and being like, "What do you wear on away games? Like, do you bring a thing?" He's like, "I just bring like a toothbrush and an extra sweater, and I usually dress in what I'm going to coach in. And I just love that, thing. But I think he's such a great motivator, and he's very empathetic. He's a good listener. That I think he would, he'd do better, I think, than Ted immediately, because he's actually, a gifted, tactician and coach. But I think he'd put himself in a good position, as any good leader will, by surrounding himself with, smart people. I think that's one of the great qualities of a great leader, is someone that's humble and smart enough to do such a thing.
That's awesome, dude. They're giving me the wrap. I just want to say, like, you and I have been chatting since I think I looked at my first interview. I think I was like 19 during our first interview, and you've been like so freaking kind to me. Both you and your wife have been so kind to me.
That's amazing. Well, yeah, congrats. You're doing it well. If you've been doing it this long, that's how I feel. It's like we're not, lucky. So yeah, well, I'll see you, see you again soon. All right.